remember when he sat in the tent of the door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and what did he see? 3 men stood by him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground and said, "My Lord," singular. And he was addressing those 3. Okay. But in 19,
so what you're saying is
it's 2 angels.
So you're saying, so hold on, if I could hear you out. So you're saying the 3 men stayed with Abraham, and then God sent 2 angels down there. So there's 5 people in total.
That's what it seems like to me, because they're dressed as lords, plural.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid interpretation. I would say majority would, agree with the interpretation we're saying, but again, majority doesn't mean that it's right.
Because, I mean, they're dressed totally different in 19, and it's not capitalized "my Lord" in 19 like it is in 18.
Yeah, don't get confused with the capital L. It's probably the same Hebrew word, but one's probably Adoni and then Adonai, maybe. Let me go look at the Hebrew. You could probably pull it up too, but
let's see. Looks like Theos. Is that how you say that?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Not that one. Don't do that one, because that's Yahweh. Do where it says in verse 3. Yeah, 136.
Well, I'm just going by who appeared to him in the beginning, the very beginning of the story.
Yeah, that's Yahweh, Yod He Vav He.
How come it doesn't show that in the...
Yeah, that would just be Kurios, which would be and appeared to him God, or Theos. Yeah, Theos, see? So it just says God.
And then he said lords here. It's a different word, kurios.
Yeah, again, that's Greek. So that's literally, I mean, that's how you just say, I mean, in Hebrew, there's a difference when you see, like, in an English Bible, capital L-O-R-D in Hebrew is Yahweh, the tetragrammaton. But when you see L-O-R-D not capitalized, now that's the word most likely Adonai, Adon, could be probably, hold on, let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. So verse 3 says, "My Lord," yeah, Adoni, or Adonai, Strong's number 113, "My Lord." And then when I go to chapter 19, what was it, verse 2, it says lords, plural?
Yeah, my lords.
Yeah, it's the same word, Adoni. So it's like the same word, but it again, it's Adoni. Adonai.
When I read it, I get it's 3 men and 2 men leave.
Yeah, that's how I see it, but I mean...
Because in 16 it says... Well, then in 16 it says, "Then the men rose up from there and looked down toward Sodom, and Abraham was walking with them to send them off. The Lord said, 'Shall I hide from Abraham what am I about to do? Since Abraham will surely become a great and mighty nation, and in him all the nations of the earth will be blessed.'" So he's talking here to the men, "For I have chosen him, so that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice."
Where does it say to look down?
So, sorry, say that again?
You said to look down. I don't see where it says to look down. It says
men. 16, then the men sent out from there. So that would be the 3 men.
No, 2, because the Lord stayed.
Where do you see the Lord stayed?
He's talking to...
Because it's the Lord's talking to them, right? And then he says, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Then in 19, for I have chosen, blah, blah, blah. And then in 20, it says, no, hang on, where did I read that?
Okay, verse 22. So the men turned from there and went towards Sodom. But
Yes.
Abraham still stood before the Lord. Then Abraham drew near and said, will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? So there's the men leaving. So you have the two men going. And then you have Abraham and the Lord staying there.
So you think it was the Lord and two angels that came?
That's what it appears to me.
Yeah, that's what it appears. I think the biggest thing is that God appeared as a man. You know, most people would say God doesn't appear as a man or take the form of a man. He's God. But
yeah, actually,
in the Bible, he does.
That segues into a question I had. But what version of you said those really awesome books that you got? They had the Old Testament in it or the New? Zach,
what are you talking about?
All those books you got. Remember you said you got like half that collection. You wish you'd got the other half of the collection, but it's like
yeah, I know. Don't remind me. It's just the New Testament.
Oh, that's just the New. Dang. Because Daniel.
That would still be Hebrew though. That wouldn't be. You know, so even if I looked at that verse, it would only be like what I'm looking at, even on my phone. I mean, I have it on my phone.
Fair enough. But the Daniel verse is the part where you're right, talking where the whole thing happens, where
with the fire, furnace, the Son of Man.
No, I just had it. Did I? Oh, I moved the page. That's why. Darius the Mede, the king of Greece. Oh yeah, the thing right before that, the whole prophecy where he's like telling the guy like took all of his power away from him. I think it was 10, chapter 10. Right. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me. Yada yada. Right. This is a very confusing.
Man.
Yeah, this is a very confusing little section. That's like I think there's multiple people here being talked about. It's not all the same dude, right? So it's like, oh, so how was this angel stopped by the prince of Persia, right? But it's like, well, that's the guy who came to talk to Daniel. The guy, whoever that guy was, he's the guy who came to talk to Daniel and tell him the things. But then, all of a sudden, it says, he says, now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. And then it says right after that, and when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb, and behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Like, this is a whole nother dude now, right?
Yeah.
This is the Lord. This is him. This other person, the second one.
Are you talking about Jacob, or what are you talking about?
This part in Daniel where the angel comes to inform Daniel about what's going to happen in the later days.
What chapter?
It's the end of 10. 10, I guess really starting at like, yeah. It's like the whole section, like 14 on, pretty much. To the end. Right? Because he tells him the prophecy about the Prince of Greece coming, right? Like soon, right? But there's two different people here. It's not all the same person. The first person that came is the messenger who says things like, there's none who stand with me in these things except Michael, your prince. And then he said he put his face to the ground, and then when he became dumb, behold, this other dude shows up, one with the similitude of the sons of men. But he also says, then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me. Like that's always how the angel of the Lord is spoken about, like some mysterious dude, like, you know, you can't quite make him out, but like, you know, like who he is, right? But you don't know who he is. Don't you think? Like that's how they usually describe Jesus before he was there. Like he's one like this, one like that, like right.
So
like
you
the guy
think
in the fire.
these are all Jesus?
The guy
In
that
the
was in the
flesh?
fire, right? Yeah, I think the angel of the Lord is Jesus. This guy, the second guy, is. But the guy that
Yeah, I think the angel of the Lord's the Father.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, you can't see the Father, but you can see this guy.
Well, I mean, what about
We can't see the Father face to face, but if he's
right.
incarnate in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you see the Father, you see Him. You see Jesus, because if you see Him, then you've seen the Father, right? So it all makes sense. But you
I
didn't
mean, you really
actually.
can't separate them, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Jesus God in the flesh?
Right.
Yeah, Jesus is Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it says, "But I will show you the scriptures."
Remember a few years ago when we would get into some heavy conversations? Remember that, Stacy?
Yeah.
We still somewhat do.
What?
And we still talk about this topic too.
Yeah.
Especially when that guy Tyler was on.
Oh, really? What does he believe?
He's a Unitarian.
Yeah.
He believes that
Right.
Jesus is not God.
Because this is
Oh, he
confusing.
doesn't believe Jesus is God?
No, he believes that Jesus is a created being from the first century. There's no, like, Jesus, not in the Old Testament. I don't think he believes that he was like physically made in the sense of like sexual intercourse, but he definitely does not believe that he's God. He pre-existed.
Well, how does that work? It says that God shed his own blood.
Oh, God is a word that does not just denote like creator. I mean, for example, in Exodus chapter 7, verse 1, Moses is called God. So it means more of like a judge or ruler. So
Right.
God the Father bestowed upon Jesus that authority or that God status.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of crazy, I guess, doctrines and beliefs out there, but I just think like for the majority, I mean, it seems to me that Jesus pre-existed, you know, and things like that, and even the Pharisees, they knew what he was saying, you know, was blasphemy. Like, you can't just say that about yourself, you know. You can't just equate yourself the way that he would with God. But the first thing they wanted to do was stone him because it was just so outlandish. But, you know, and then Jesus receives prayer and all this stuff. But it's like, if Jesus is a created being, then that means like, but they would just say that God allows, like, that's what God did. Like, yes, you can't worship anything that is created, but if God says you can, then you can. Which, you know, can make sense, but again, I just don't see it. But we've done even debates with him before, like years ago.
But yeah, do you see what's going on here in this verse of Daniel? This the end here, because that's where it goes back to the original guy that was talking about in the first place, and that's why he says there are like I never understood that like any of this why it said certain things, but now I think I do. It says no one holds with me but Michael your prince, right? Well, obviously it can't be Jesus himself talking about Michael the prince if Michael is the archangel, right? And it says, how can the servant of this is probably terrible because it's King James, but verse 17, for how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? Like, I was like, what is that? But what's happening is he's like coming, like he's getting strengthened by the Lord, the angel of the Lord that's there talking with him, the one that strengthens him, which would be Michael the prince. But then it goes back, and he's like, now that you strengthened me, let my other Lord speak. And that's the other guy that's there telling him the information in the first place. And then he tells him, nobody is with me on this except Michael, your prince.
Sure.
Yeah, I somewhat see what you're saying. See what you're throwing down.
Yeah, it's two different. Well, it's the guy that came to talk to Daniel, and he's saying nobody's with me except for basically your God, I guess. And
remember where the old JJ's was?
you might want to mute
Remember,
yourself.
Oh.
Somebody mute her.
Yes, we're right in that mall there on the left, on the corner.
I
How
can't
do you
mute
do
her.
that?
I don't know. You should have a way to mute. I hope you do.
Doesn't look like
Aren't
it.
you the commander? You don't have
I am,
full
but I'm not
control.
at the. All right, it's okay. It looks like she walked away. Hopefully.
You're supposed to have full control at all times.
I am. Otherwise, I get I get strikes, right? Allowing things.
Would you like to work with you?
Strike 2.
All right, I'm gonna have to go down.
It doesn't look like we can mute other people.
Fair enough.
You know what hairdressers are like.
You guys don't want to hear her conversation? What's wrong with you guys? That's messed up.
All right. Almost at the mute button. But in that, like.
Oh wait, yeah, you can do it actually. Let's see here. I got it. No, maybe I can't. It won't let me.
I did it.
Did you do it? Okay, yeah, it doesn't let me.
Yeah, I probably have to give you permission.
Gotcha.
You have to give us permission?
Probably.
Wow, that is
Albert's the dictator.
Wow. This is supposed to be like
You can either vote for me
socialism.
or me.
You're supposed to just give us all access to everything.
Yeah, I was telling Albert and Stacy, I was watching a video on China, how communism took place, and there was they had a vote for democracy dictatorship, but you can only vote for one guy.
Nice.
But like you were saying, Zach, that's one example, Daniel, of another place where he's depicted as a man. Like, he's a man. It's him again, as far as I'm concerned, at least. All these times, like the dude that was in the fiery furnace, right? That was him again. All these different times. Like the dude that was like, what's her name? Go back to your master, Abraham, or whatever. Because she was like running away.
Yeah, there's many places. They call them like Christophanies, like Christ in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that phrase is. There's some phrase that that's always like Christ to me.
Angel of the Lord.
What's that? No, not angel of the Lord. I think that's the Father. But this is a different one, like righteousness or something. I can't remember what it is.
I think it's Jesus everywhere in the Old Testament.
I think so too, yeah.
Like every time God ever spoke, it's always Jesus.
It makes sense because he's the Word, right? I mean, hello, who do you expect to bump into? It's going to be Jesus every time.
Didn't find it.
But that's the same chapter of Daniel that has the chapter right after that, when the Grecian king comes. I think that's Mark Antony in there somewhere at the end. That's like Mark, the one that's gathering all the ships and all this stuff. That's Mark Antony and Cleopatra going against Caesar.
Do you have a way to search by capital letters, Stacy?
What now?
Do you have a way to search by like instead of like the word holy, but capital holy?
All scriptures are host instances.
Don't you put parenthesis around it?
Is that what you do?
Parenthesis or
No, it would still be case insensitive.
apostrophe? No, not apostrophe. The what do you call the little quotes? You put it in quotes. That's what you do.
Yeah, I didn't get it to work.
Whoa. No music. Music is not allowed. No music.
Have you been studying anything lately, Matthew?
No, unfortunately, haven't been doing much studying at all. It's been all work for me. Really, really busy.
Yeah. Helps the paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, well, in my business, when it's busy, you have to grab as much as you can because you never know what's going to stop. Now they're saying that there's going to be a recession, but I think that's a political way of destroying the economy so Trump doesn't win again.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not cashing out anything.
Like a bad economy, the mention of a bad economy is a self-fulfilling prophecy. People get scared, they stop spending money, it daisy chains.
Yeah, I think it's the phrase is Holy One of Israel, and it's all capital in the King James. I think that's Christ. Like here's one. Fear not thou, whom Jacob, ye men of Israel, I will help thee, say the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I was trying to find one that actually is a little bit more specific to Christ.
Yeah, I would say all that's Christ too.
I am the Lord, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Let's see.
Yeah, but I would also say that there are some instances where it's the Lord, the angel of the Lord is Jesus. I mean, I think it's all Jesus, but
Well, there's one place where the angel of the Lord comes and tells like Joseph and Mary and,
yeah, that's what
baby Jesus to get out of a town. Well, how's Jesus in two places at once?
That's why I said that not everything.
That's actually Gabriel.
Yeah.
It says angel of the Lord, though.
I don't think it does. It's not the angel of the Lord. It says maybe
it does. It does say the angel of the Lord.
There's an angel of the Lord.
But there's instances in the Old Testament that talk about the angel of the Lord is, talking, and then all of a sudden it says Yahweh. But then you look at the New Testament and Yahweh is Jesus. So you're like, okay, well, who is actually speaking? Because it doesn't specify the Son or the Father in the Old Testament. But the New Testament says that Jesus is Yahweh. So I would say Yahweh is not specifically, just the Father. That's what I thought before. Like I thought, like wherever you see Yahweh is the Father, and Yeshua is the Son. But no.
What about this one? And immediately the angel of the Lord smote him because he gave not God the glory.
Yeah, Jesus.
Gotcha.
I would even say every single time that, the Old Testament says, "Thus says the Lord God, oh, Son of Man, go tell the people of Israel." Who's speaking? It's the Lord. It's Yahweh. Well, who's Yahweh? Jesus. Who did they see? Jesus. Who did Jacob wrestle? So he wrestled God, Elohim. Yeah. But I would say that would be Jesus, because it says, that's how I kind of interpret it.
But as far as preterism, I think I have one of the best little historical tidbits, right? Just from Daniel, from the end right there. If you take both the end of the one chapter and the beginning of the other chapter, right after it.
Daniel 10 and 11?
11 and 12.
Oh, 11 and 12, yeah, that's
Right,
going to be.
It's going through the Roman stuff, but it skips, it's crazy skips. Like it starts off with Julius or something maybe, and then it goes right into some other of the Roman emperors right beforehand, like the Mark Antony thing, that whole thing. But then it says at the end, but tidings
what scripture?
Daniel 11:44 through Daniel 12, just the first one. But this is good for full preterism because this fits perfectly with those verses we were talking about the other day, I guess, with what the historical people said, talking about the chariots in the sky doing battle and all that, 66 AD. To me, this fits perfectly like a glove. But it says, "But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him." That is Nero right there, to a T.
Where are you reading?
That?
I'm sorry, okay.
11:44.
Daniel chapter 11.
Here, I'll share my screen.
I got it here.
I mean, it goes through a little bit more stuff. Powers and treasure, he shall have all that. But tidings out of the east shall trouble him. So he gets trouble.
Did you see what Josephus wrote about that 45?
What did he write about? Yeah, that's definitely near. 100%.
It said, when Roman army set up a camp during the war with Israel, Josephus says that the middle of the camp was set apart with tents for Nero, and then basically Nero died before he could actually come down there.
Right, and it says, and none shall help him. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Nero. And then right after that, what does it say? This is the kick right in the face. In the next chapter, it says, there shouldn't be a break here, but there is, whatever. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. That's Jesus. That's when he comes back. That's when Jesus sets up the kingdom. 66. Right? Am I wrong? It fits to me. But he says, at what time? The time when Nero kills himself, roughly. It's a little bit after that, but he definitely invaded the land and set his tabernacles. He says at that time. That's when he's going to set up the kingdom. That's in another
What
verse.
year did he commit suicide?
68.
68.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he commit suicide?
Because everybody hated him. They were like, this dude is crazy. Like they were all convinced that he burned down Rome on purpose, like because he had plans to rebuild all this stuff, like already drawn up. At least that was the rumor. But yeah, he was doing crazy stuff. Like he would go out in the middle of like the night and like, I don't know, like he would just do stuff that was nuts for an emperor to do.
They're still doing it today.
He was actually nicknamed. One of his names was the Beast.
Yeah, and that's the whole, one, I beheld one of its heads as it was wounded to death, Then it's the year of the four emperors right after that, which it looks like the dragon, Rome, is going to be falling down and getting destroyed, but nope, it's resurrected because Vespasian comes out of nowhere and resurrects the head. But it says at that time, see, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Well, who's Michael? Michael has to be in this case. It's got to be Jesus. That's the kingdom. He's setting it up right there. Because in another verse he says, in the days of those kings shall the Lord set up a kingdom, which will, that whole verse. They go hand in hand, same time.
Yeah, you definitely got a good argument for Michael being Jesus there.
Yeah, it might not be every time, but in this case, I think it has to be.
Although it does say that Michael would go to war too at that time in Revelation.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what he did. He went against Satan, who was all the unbelieving people, all the ones who were against him. Like he took them all out. It was the unbelieving tares that were burned together. Like that was the Satan in my eyes. Like behold, he will soon crush Satan under your feet. Well, they're the only ones that got crushed, right? Because Rome didn't get crushed. It wasn't Rome that was like, when it says the Lord will go out and do battle, like fight with that nation. Like
it was called the synagogue of Satan, though.
He's fighting on the side of them. Like he's fighting with them together on the same side, not against them. So he's fighting against Jerusalem and the unbelievers. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I was saying, they were called the synagogue of Satan, your brood of vipers.
Of course, they
killed up prophets.
Of Satan. So a synagogue is what? Like a gathering, and they're all gathering because they're all adversarial. They're like, what are we going to do to get rid of this guy? Right? But he's already gone. But he comes back and he crushes Satan. That's 66 AD. He came back with some friends. They're called the Roman armies, right? And then they do what they do. Nero kills himself in the middle, and, it's just all chaos. But it fits like a glove. Like, it's perfect. Like, I don't see a flaw or a dent in it anywhere. It's literally flawless. You guys don't see that? How it fits perfectly?
Perfectly.
It's perfect. Like,
No, I definitely see it. I mean, that's pretty much Armin's go-to verses right there.
For what?
For full preterism.
Oh, is it?
I would say Zach uses it a lot too.
right, because, I mean, look, the very next chapter, like, this has to be it. Look, this is definitely, it says, and at that time shall Michael, I didn't read the whole thing, stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So this is when all of it happens, right? And then it says, doesn't it say the resurrection? And many that are asleep in the dust of the earth shall wake. And that in 66 AD, there's the story of, the phantoms when the Nero was digging the channel. There's the trumpet. The Josephus and others say they heard a trumpet, right? Like a big noise. It all fits. If you take it all together, it's like a a really good court case. You can't lose, right?
The only thing for me is I also see that it needs to also be combined with the destruction. That's the only thing. because that would be at the same thing that Daniel says in chapter 12, that what time would these things happen? It would be when the power of the holy people is completely destroyed.
Right. When they're
So I don't.
completely is when all things would be finished. But
that would be when they would awake. That would
that's
be when the
that's the
resurrection
beautiful
is.
thing about it, though. It skips time. It's talking about a group of time at a time. Because it's not like, well, what time is it going to die? Like 6:45? Like, it's not that precise. It's more like a range of dates that it's giving you.
Yeah, like that whole time period, but it can't go past it, I would say.
No. I would say 66 to 70 AD, definitely, is
That's
the
when all
end.
these things are happening.
The end of the end, right? The end is a time period, and then the end of the end is the last bit of it.
Yeah, I agree.
And the last day would literally be like the last day of whatever day they finally had the whole temple, like everything was packed up and ready to go, all the Romans were out of there, then it's definitely over. Right.
Yeah.
Whenever the Romans could declare victory, right, and say we win, like then it's over. That's the last day. Somewhere near that.
I agree.
But again, it does say for thy people, thy, all the time. It's always for thy people, right? That's what Daniel got to show you the things that must occur to thy people. Not to us Americans over here under Trump.
Does that Jonathan Kahn say that Trump's the last Trump?
I don't know. I couldn't listen to him, honestly. I listened to the first 15 minutes about.
If you ever get a chance, watch his Harbinger story. He sold a lot of books and stuff off that one.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He was into the blood moon stuff too, right?
Sounds like he's into everything. Isn't he a prophet? To me, he looks like a clown.
Can't be a prophet. Prophecy was sealed.
Huh?
All the prophecy was sealed. There can't be any more prophets. There's no point. All the prophets were, the whole point was to point to Jesus and what was going to happen. So there literally is no
I'm
point.
saying that's what he calls himself.
I know, but obviously he's a faker. Or he's just not understanding what it means to be a prophet.
He actually looks like he's wearing a wig, false eyebrows.
Is he one of those judges that wears the...
You've never seen him?
No, I mean, I've seen him. But...
No, I've never seen him before. This is the first time I've seen him. I think his name is pretty telling, Khan.
Yeah.
He's definitely into the, but just the way he goes through the Bible, I found it quite interesting. And using all the people that have come against the Israelites. Well, hello, buddy. This was God's judgment on them, and how they all paid for it. Right? So if he says, I've never known a Christian that loved the Jews that wasn't blessed. And I've never known a Christian that hated the Jews that wasn't cursed. You know what I mean? Just really definitely, what's the word? Manipulative. You got to listen to it. It was quite interesting. I mean, I listened to it on 75 speed to get it over with. I made it 21 minutes in before I had to close it out.
Yeah, I've heard.
But I'll tell you, it is interesting what's, with Israel kind of rising out of the ashes, so to speak. And I find it interesting, what's going on in the world. What were you talking about the other night, Albert, about how it could be, how they could be using the Bible and using it as a
Yeah, they're just trying to do it on purpose. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, dude,
Yeah.
all these people like totally falsely believe this thing, which we know isn't going to happen. Let's capitalize and let's make it happen. Let's, pretend, and then we can have the power.
yeah.
But I think if they go with that plan, they're gonna, it's not gonna go to the, it's not gonna be good for them. But that's what it seems that they're doing. It seems that they're trying to maybe copy or mimic, or maybe they're not even. Maybe it's just completely coincidence, and people are just reading things into the Bible left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe it's both.
What about
There's a lot of money to be made on it, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
what about where it talks about his peace will grow too? So to me, it seems like things are going to get better over time, no matter what.
I
think they have gotten better over time.
Totally.
But, if you listen to the news, you'd swear the world was going to end day after tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's why you don't listen to the news. It's almost everything that they say is bad. That's all they tell you is bad news. They're the bad news bears.
Well, listen, I got a hurricane coming, so that's bad news.
It's not coming.
But it could
It's actually not even real. They're just like
I know.
Publix, the food stores. They're just trying to make
Making money.
Proving
Let's start a
Albert's
rumor.
point.
It could. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. And then it's just like, oh my God, it turned. There was a northern wind and low pressure from the north that drove it out to sea.
And we'll never see it.
Yeah, everybody would be like, oh, thank God we missed that. Not even thinking about, wait a second. I just spent $400 this week on groceries, water, batteries, flashlights. I think I just got set up.
Yeah, you did.
Well, trust me, this thing is going to plow us.
But no, I do hope it misses. But I hope it fizzles more than I hope it misses. Because I don't know. It's just you never know. It could fizzle.
But I will say, what's funny though is the satellite pictures from space of the hurricanes.
Well, those are hilarious.
It's like such a weird angle. They like the one I was watching yesterday. It was just like, I was like, why would they show it from that angle? It's like,
They have to make the curve. It has to be the deceptive angle in order to make it look like it's a curve of the Earth.
yeah, I mean it is. It's like 60% of the screen is the Earth, and then 40% is black.
Yeah, and then you're looking at, like, I've seen some of these images that they show of these like super hurricanes. It's like, really? The hurricane was that big that it takes up what, like 3/4 of the Earth? Like, it's like the whole friggin' side is covered. Like this whole side of the Earth is annihilated by giant hurricane. Like, but where's all the land masses on your image? They're never there. The clouds are in the way. Like, really?
Yeah. I will say these storms are pretty big. I mean, they're like literally the size of Florida.
No doubt, but that's still like not, because the way that they look on the when they show them on the animations and whatnot, they're like the size of the entire United States and Canada. Like, they're huge, and it's like, no. There's no way. Like, you're making it too big. But yeah, I think it's all definitely Africa's fault that these
It's signs of the times, you guys. Signs of the times.
Oh yes.
we get these.
Well, that's the thing. The Bible doesn't mention hurricanes, so this isn't a part. It's only earthquakes, famines, things like that.
It's in the sky. Could be a sign in the sky.
Well, yeah, that's true.
He's coming in the clouds, dog. You better watch out.
Yeah. Okay, I stand corrected.
So are you a partial preterist now because of the hurricane?
No, not that, but no.
It hasn't deterred your thinking, huh?
No, almost.
Did you
At least
buy?
you won't have to water your.
Did you buy some flashlights?
I mean, my wife said that she did, but I have a really nice one that I'm charging up right now. So it like charges up, and then I'm able to also use that as to charge my phone. I have 2 other little small portable chargers for my phone, the battery full things. But I'm gonna be at a hospital, so I'm not even gonna lose power.
When's your wife due?
But should be 39 weeks, like on Monday.
Really?
Yeah. And then with the hurricanes, they most of the time with the low pressure makes babies come induces labor sometimes.
Right.
So it'll be better to be in a hospital. We're already there, so we already registered, and we're gonna be in an auditorium kind of thing with a bunch of pregnant women. So, which is cool, is I won't lose power, but the bad thing is I'm not gonna be sleeping on a bed. So I'll probably bring some like foam mats or something, like the puzzle piece mats that I have that my son used to crawl on. I'll probably bring that and sleep on that. But my son won't be with us though, which is gonna kind of be kind of weird. But so my mother-in-law is coming to my house and watching my son.
That's nice of her.
Yeah.
Are you worried?
I just don't like not being with my son.
Yeah, being separated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and then you won't have like, I guess,
Might
communication.
not have cell phone coverage, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I know like walkie-talkie apps work, so we'll be able to probably do that. Like do a little walkie-talkie kind of stuff.
You don't have an actual walkie-talkie. They have an app for that? Like what?
Yeah, it'll beep on your phone, but yo, what's up? But so that'll probably be good. But and then being in a hospital, being in a because at first I was really like very like nervous because not only for my wife, but us being in the auditorium at a hospital, I thought I was going to be in a room with a bunch of homeless people and a bunch of just and just craziness. This is just like a panic attack.
Right.
I didn't want to put my wife in any kind of stress like that. And so which is nice is that actually for maternity purposes that they have like their own little section that we're all going to be in on another floor, which is nice. So it'll just be pregnant people.
What did they say Irma was last 2 years ago or whatever? What was that? A 3, 4, 2?
I don't even remember the names.
I thought she was supposed to be like some super crazy, like I don't know, and it just wasn't as much as they hyped it. Like,
well, I noticed they're predicting it's going to go down and then get stronger again.
Oh, right.
Well, this storm's supposed to be a Category 4 when it makes landfall in Florida.
Yeah, I was seeing that.
That's definitely, if anything's above a Category 3, it's bad.
Well, Category 3 is bad.
Yeah, Category 3 is bad, but you can handle Category 3. Category 4, that's going to be ripping trees down. I mean, the thing is then driving, and it's just crazy.
Chaos, yeah. It's the same thing as if an F5 tornado hit.
No, not even close. If the F5 came, that would be real bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like those are pretty ferocious. Like they're scary. Pitch black clouds, run.
Zach is a Floridian. He wouldn't even wake up in a Category.
Dang.
How high does it go? 5 on hurricanes?
Yeah, Category 5 is the highest.
Yeah, they both go to 5.
I mean, Category 5 is anything like above like 157, 160 or something.
So what is it?
That's what's crazy is that's like a constant 160 mile an hour winds.
The fastest hurricane.
That's not including the gust. There have been some hurricanes that the gusts are over 200 miles an hour.
Which is the equivalent of like a tornado, what, 2?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like a F3, F4.
Okay. Yeah. Did they have equivalent? Yeah. So just imagine like a giant tornado just constantly blowing at like 100 miles an hour. That would be terrible.
Yeah, and this thing, there's nowhere to run. The hurricane is 300 miles in diameter. You know,
Yeah.
when this thing hits Florida, like everybody's gonna feel it.
Oh my God!
See,
See, you guys are in such a terrible spot already because like you're in sinkhole like central, so your whole state is nothing but Swiss cheese. This is just going to make more Swiss cheese out of it if it hits.
I just pray that, you know,
Yeah, I hope it
it
misses
just
or
goes
fizzes.
north. Just
Well, I
go
hope it
north.
goes where it came from. Like Africa
Back
can
to
have.
Africa. Yeah, you can have it back. Thanks.
Do you
No,
think? Do you think butterflies start hurricanes, Albert?
I don't think butterflies start hurricanes. I think the hurricanes come from Cape Verde off the coast of Africa, but it's actually started on the mainland of Africa. It has to do with where the desert meets the jungle. The two of them meet together, blowing towards the United States, and it blows them right at us like a slingshot. It's just like firing them right at us. So if they would just regreen the desert a little bit, we wouldn't get slammed by hurricanes anymore. As far as that's my guess. Like they would stop forming if they would just fix the freaking land over there and make it so that it's not so unstable with two different things coming together all the time. You know, the hot desert with the jungle, they both meet and it's not good.
Listen, you just sound racist.
No, it's not nothing against African people. It's not their fault. It's the land. It's the trees that are missing. That's what the issue is. So if they regreened the desert, which I'm not saying they deservified it, right? It's just, it is a desert because probably the flood. I mean, it looks to me like the whole top part of Africa got annihilated in the flood and it never recovered. But what do I know? I don't know.
Looks like you agree with NASA or NOAA.
That's where all the hurricanes come from, and I'm pretty sure that's what's generating them. So if they just fix that, like, we don't have to deal with this shenanigans anymore.
There, it says, what does the Sahara Desert in Africa have to do with hurricanes? And it says, you might think this sounds a little crazy because hurricanes. So it doesn't sound like you're crazy, but people might think that it says.
Good. But he actually knows. Good.
Yeah, it comes from the driest place.
I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense, really. I mean, you look at any hurricane and you look where it comes from. It's coming from right there. So it's like, okay, why are they all coming from here? Oh, I don't know. Giant sandy place, no trees. Giant place with tons of trees. Congo jungle.
Kind of like how a tornado forms.
Probably why. Right there.
So maybe we can start planting some trees in Africa.
Dude, they already started. There's a short, like 2 or 3 minute video on YouTube about them re-greening the desert over there, and they're doing a pretty good job. But it takes time but they are doing it. It's like the Green Wall Initiative, something or other, like the Green Wall Project. I don't know, but they're trying to somewhere. But they need to do it near Cape Verde is where they need to do it, on the coast. They got to block the coast with trees. Because I think if they did that, any kind of momentum that a hurricane could pick up would get kicked. It would fizzle. It's really all they have to do is just stall it right before it gets to the water, and it won't happen.
Or build force fields.
So, yeah, or just like, or you can try what
They are trying to build a wall, aren't they?
Trying to build a green wall. They're trying to build a wall of trees.
Yeah.
But really,
that'd be the coolest thing ever.
Dude, they should. I mean, they can do it. I've seen it. I've seen pictures of before and after of a place, like an area where it was completely desert, like sand everywhere, and then they show you the after shot of like when they did some treatments to it. And
I mean, look at Israel.
and it's green. It's green all over it.
They did it to Israel.
What's that?
This Israel in the Middle East, it was a desert.
What about Dubai?
Yeah, all that stuff. You just put enough resources.
Vegas.
Yeah, you put enough money and resources into anything, you can do pretty much whatever.
Yeah, I think they should plant more trees.
Just think about all that money it would cost, but all the money it would save. No more hurricanes. You know how awesome that would be?
I think it's a waste of money. I don't see the big deal with the hurricane.
You don't even.
What, you Canadian lady?
How about let's keep the hurricane? Keep them.
I don't see what your big deal is down there, man. Like,
What's the worst thing that you get?
You're whining.
Laura's daughter of the construction industry.
Yeah,
inheritance money coming.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like where my warehouse is, right across the street is a roofing company, and roofing companies love hurricanes.
Oh, I guess they're probably the ones that start them.
Yeah, right. They're the ones that cut the trees down.
They're burning the trees and cutting them down as the green wall goes up.
Yeah, totally. Probably. That's the kind of conspiracy you would expect.
So do you guys think Trump is going to get in?
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so I was cutting this lady's hair yesterday, and I don't think she really cares for me. She just likes the way I do her hair because I rented a chair off her daughter last couple of years ago in a business, and they screwed me over with Revenue Canada, right, which is your IRS. Anyway, I had to deal with Revenue Canada, and then one day I texted her and I said, "Hey, look, Revenue Canada says that you guys wrote me out a T4, which I don't get T4s written out to me, so they're trying to double my income tax, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, so she never responded. And, but I still cut her mother's hair. So anyway, her mother says to me, I said, "Hey, how about that Trump?" I said, "Do you think he's going to get in?" And she goes, "I don't know. What do you think?" And I said, I think he's going to get in with a landslide." And she's like, "The guy is nuts. Everybody hates him." I'm like, I don't think so. I said, I did this Bible study with all these American guys, and they all love him. Really? I said, yeah. It got quite quiet.
It seems like people love him or hate him. There isn't much in between.
Yeah, there's really not.
Do you guys think he's done well for your country?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I kind of wonder if some of that's off Obama, though.
Propaganda? Do you think some of it's propaganda? The same as they're propagandizing, saying that he's a piece of garbage? Do you actually see any difference?
I think it all doesn't matter. I think
see a difference.
Ultimately in control. He put Trump there.
The difference is a lot of work. I'm like more busier than ever.
It does seem like the economy is doing better, but I don't look at all the numbers.
Yeah, no. Apparently, it's like historically like the lowest it's been in like forever, pretty much. Like
what?
even in all like the.
How can they say that?
They say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they say the the black unemployment, the all the different ethnicities, like unemployment is literally record low ever. So there's more people working. There's more people, prospering and, actually working and, not just sitting around going, "Okay, government, give me my check."
But, what's interesting is they were talking about the stock market, how it's taken a hit.
Yeah, but it was just at its all-time high. So, like, they're playing this game.
And then Trump comes on his little Twitter feed there. and he says the opposite, right? And next day the stock market takes off again. So it's driven by what the most popular people say it is.
Exactly, but they're doing it on purpose. Gotta be. I mean, I'm taking.
I remember watching the cryptocurrency stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There were these guys. They were young. They were like 18 years old, and they're driving Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and all this stuff. And what they would do is that they had such a following on YouTube. They would tell people, "Oh, the next cryptocurrency to buy is this."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even though they just bought like a whole bunch of them at like, I'm telling you, like fractions of pennies.
Nothing. Yeah.
They would buy them at nothing. People are hearing it. Everybody goes and buys them, and then they're selling them, and it's just like they're the ones that made all the money while everybody's buying
Yeah,
garbage.
even what's his name did that? What's his pickle there that sent the car into space? What's his name?
Oh, Tesla, yeah, Elon Musk.
Okay, so Elon goes out and he says, I'm putting Tesla up for sale. I'm going to sell it, right? So what did he do? Anyway, he got charged for it. Of course, nothing happens to him. But, it's manipulating the stock market, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what
it's pump and dump, and that's illegal.
Yeah, literally pump and dump. Right?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, yeah, exactly.
But I'm telling you, people make I was watching the YouTube videos going like, what? How the heck are these guys making? And they'll show you their account on their cryptocurrency thing where they have like $3 million in the market, and you're just like, what the heck? And then they literally are like, oh yeah, we just made $80,000 in the last 15 minutes. They're like, go buy this now. You're the one buying them off of them.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you son of a gun.
Buy, sell, buy, sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what just happened with Classic WoW and World of Warcraft. They were not prepared,
Can't relate.
Yeah, nobody can unless you play.
I don't know. It sure did change my son when he started playing it.
It's a good game, but yeah, you can lose like everything just playing the game.
I mean, I know people that actually like graduate, dropped out of school because of that video game.
Oh yeah, so did my nephew. Thought he was gonna make her rich playing games.
No, I have like people that I know that just didn't care about anything except playing WoW.
Oh.
Yeah, there's actual back in the day they used to tell you like, no, you can't just like play video games all day. You got to go to work and make money. It's like, but some of these streamers today, they just stream video games all day.
Oh
they literally play games all day and they make.
Yeah, but did you ever hear that saying? Lose your life.
Well,
like they're losing their life.
They are. How do you kill that which has no life, right?
But that's their job, though. I mean, that's what they like to do, I guess.
Yeah, but your life is with other people, or it should be.
Well, I mean, their life is. It's not like they're by themselves. They're playing.
They're in a digital world with other people that they can't really see.
I mean, that's not true. I mean, we're all talking and hanging out. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, I see your picture, but let's say, you never heard my voice or anything. You saw my name and I had a girl character. Like, how are you going to know if I'm a girl or a guy?
Yeah, in that sense, of course. But I mean, I definitely see what you're saying too. I mean, some people have jobs where it's just they just see one person every day.
I think we should all just take a trip up to the Greybeards and get that horn of Jurgen Wind color.
I mean, I would
say that
love to
again,
go see the
Stacy. Sorry.
Greybeards.
What'd you say, Stace?
It's an inside joke.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
He must have been speaking at the decibel that females can't hear.
I did hear that.
Gosh.
I made a reference to a video game called Skyrim.
Something about the
We have
Greybeards.
losers on this panel that play video games. Yeah, Greybeards. You guys don't know what that is? Are you guys serious?
Oh.
They're the one that teach the Dragonborn how to do some shouts. Come on, guys.
Let me go get my Skyrim CD.
Yeah.
I will say,
you have to have played the game in order to know.
Elder Scrolls has some awesome music.
I think I'm gonna try to go to bed. I'm starting to get a little tired.
So you're gonna hype the video up, and then you're gonna dump. You're gonna leave.
Well, I can hang a little bit longer. Just starting to get tired.
No, it's cool. You can go if you gotta go. It's just pulling your leg.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow, man.
Friday night, you guys. What? Are you getting old?
Apparently.
I normally go to bed pretty early because I got to get up at 4:30 a.m. every day.
Well, 60
Wow.
is the new 40, but 9 o'clock is the new midnight.
What are you going to do when
it's
daylight
11.
savings comes? Then your whole spiel is going to be thrown off.
I
think
still,
we
I
should
still
all-
got to get up at the same time, no matter what.
We should still tweet. We should tweet the real Donald Trump, and we should tell him end daylight savings like right now before it even happens. Like, right? He should do it. He should end it. He's
And
the
then
only
tell
one.
to tell our boss the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, just end
Nobody
it. Like, there's no reason for us to do this anymore. It's stupid.
It's getting dark here
Wait,
now.
you don't do daylight savings in Canada, do you?
Hello.
You do?
Yeah.
Why do you save daylight? It's free. It's from the
Oh,
universe.
jeez. I don't know why. They've
Why
been
do you
talking about it
save
for years. To
daylight?
get rid of it. What?
Albert, why do you save daylight?
Yes.
Stupid. Frick. You go to work in the dark, get home in the dark. Oh, well.
Listen, you know what I want? I want me a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
They're all out.
I know. Did you get any of them?
Are you
I didn't get any.
What
I
is
guess they
Popeye?
were waiting in lines and lines, I guess, to get one.
There's just no way I would give up a Chick-fil-A to have a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
No, listen.
Did you have one though?
I actually went today, but they were sold out. But because I called the people I work with, like, we were gonna go get some the other day, but then like my friend's like, oh no, they're all sold out. So we're like, all right, let's just call one of the stores. And then they said they had them, but then we didn't go that day. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go today, and I go there. But dude, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on them, at least 10 of them.
So you got hungry for
On
them,
burgers? You guys, fill me in here. What are you talking about?
So in America, we love chicken sandwiches, like fried chicken breast on some bread with some pickles.
Why?
Chicken, Chick-fil-A, it's delicious. And
Chick-fil-A is good.
So Chick-fil-A
They
is like
also
the
close on
number one.
Sunday.
Yeah,
So.
it's a Christian company. They're really good, but they have really good, like, chicken sandwich. It's like a fried chicken sandwich.
Really moist too.
Yeah, very good. But now all of a sudden, this other chicken company that sells fried chicken, it's a Louisiana chicken,
50 years later.
Yeah, 100 years later, they're just like, you know what? We're going to compete with Chick-fil-A. We're going to make a better chicken sandwich. And the chicken sandwich looks so dank. Just Google it. Just Google Chick-fil-A versus Popeye's chicken sandwich pictures. Just look at
which one looks better.
Yeah, let's ask her, because she's the one that's never seen it before.
Your eyes are going to pop out.
Better.
That's why it's
Okay, so I
Popeye.
have to Google what? Popeye's chicken sandwich?
Yeah,
No,
type in Popeye's chicken
versus.
Yeah,
You got to do
Chick-fil-A.
Popeye's versus.
Popeyes versus what?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick.
I haven't looked yet, so.
Yeah.
But I did see the Jesus' Last Supper with Popeyes versus Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is
Yeah, the traitor.
one word.
Judas has the Popeyes thing. I mean, the sandwich definitely looks better.
Chick is spelled CHIC, no K.
Which one's yellow? Which one's green? I don't know. Can't tell. I'm in pictures here, so.
Well, the better looking one should be the Popeyes. Probably.
The one that looks more like
Okay,
crispy
Popeyes.
and dank.
Which one's Popeyes? Let's see. Okay, where's the other one?
I don't
Chick-fil-A?
care for a bunch of fried batter. I'd rather have chicken. And that's really
No, trust me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people on the internet that tries them, they compare them. They got both of them. I mean, some say that they still choose Chick-fil-A.
See, it's so
But
funny because both companies make out like a bandit here, right? Because you got to compare both now, and it's like, well, I need one of these crappy Chick-fil-A ones now to compare, right? Or vice versa, be like, nope, I still like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I mean,
Popeyes looks better.
You got to buy both now.
Popeyes looks better.
Yeah, it looks better. And what's crazy is a lot of people on the internet that love Chick-fil-A. These people are literally saying, they're like, I am a huge Chick-fil-A fan. I don't think it's going to be that much better. They take
But
a
I can
bite.
tell you, looking at these sandwiches, I think, holy frick, I can understand why Americans are number one in the world. Honestly. Like, they're huge. Nobody needs a sandwich that big.
Well,
Yes, you do.
I just saw a video the other day, and the guy was comparing the two, and he looked really weird, and he was getting on my nerves. And I'm like, you know what? This guy's going to pick Popeyes because he's going to do the exact opposite just to irk me even more. But it turned out he's like, no, I still prefer Chick-fil-A, but I have to give Popeyes credit, is what he said.
Oh.
Well, listen. I only really like Chick-fil-A.
You haven't even tasted one yet, though, Zach.
What do you mean?
I thought you said
Popeyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tasted the Popeyes yet. I'm only going by.
But if they're sold out.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they're delicious. I can imagine, especially.
I can imagine things.
If
My
you go to Chick-fil-A,
Lucky Charms, magically delicious.
I mean, I love Lucky Charms too. Dang. But what I'm saying is what you do is you go to Chick-fil-A and you get their Chick-fil-A sauce and you put it on these chicken.
And you put it on the Popeye sandwich.
No, that's dirty. That's cheap.
I'm telling you, the Chick-fil-A sauce is unbelievably delicious.
I would go to Chick-fil-A in a heartbeat, though. Like I love Chick-fil-A.
Me too.
Chick-fil-A
But I
doesn't
love
mean
their
far
milkshakes.
away.
On my lunch break, I used to go to the original Dwarf House.
The original what?
The Dwarf House is a restaurant that started. That's the original Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lives in Georgia.
I heard a story the other day. A guy went to Walmart and he bought some chicken legs, and he went through the checkout line, and then he asked the checkout person, "Are these the front or the rear legs?" And so the person's like, "Well, I don't know. Let me check with my manager." And I came back, and they go, "That's not funny." And he's like, "Well, I thought it was." And the person next to him says, "I thought it was funny too."
Yeah.
You know what looks good about that sandwich is the actual bun, because it's one of those butter buns.
But it's
they're
like
Wendy's. Both have good buns, but the ones I'm listening to, they always say that the bun is better on the Popeyes.
But what kind of fries? We got to talk fries now.
No, forget the fries. But I'm
what? The waffle fries are
listen.
They're waffles.
The milkshakes at Chick-fil-A, the Oreo milkshake at Chick-fil-A is the best milkshake ever.
I've never had a Chick-fil-A milkshake, so
oh my god,
really try.
You have to get the Oreo one. It is. I mean, for me personally, it's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable, but it's.
I don't care for it. Actually, it tastes like spoiled milk to me. It does. It tastes like milk.
Well, most of that shit's antifreeze anyway.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you really want the best, you get a Blizzard, Summerberry Cheesecake Blizzard from Dairy Queen.
No, you get an Oreo with extra Oreos. Thank you.
Summerberry Cheesecake with extra cheese. I used to get an Oreo with extra Oreos, but after I tried the Summerberry Cheesecake.
Is that like ordering a Coca-Cola heavy on the Coke?
You can tell we're Americans.
Oh, yeah. I can't stand fast food.
A?
Oh, yeah.
B, C.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, you did say A again a second time. Nobody flagged you for it, but I did record it. You did do it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, two times in a night. 2 times in a night. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Hey?
That's not bad. That's not even. That's not even a trend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Eh?
I mean, what is?
That's really only the time you do it is when you're asking a question. That's the only time you really do it.
Zach, his favorite thing. It's really interesting. I find it very interesting. No, really interesting.
Yeah, well, cool.
You want to know what's funny? Is I write really all the time.
Zach Spock.
I write, like, when I do my papers for school and then, like, I reread it, I'm like, I say really a lot. And even when my wife reads it before I post it, she's like, why do you keep saying really? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just like writing and I'm just like saying really all the time. I'm like,
You're trying to convince somebody. Really? Really?
like, no, really, this is awesome.
His favorite
The
word
best
used to
in the
be-
world.
His favorite word used to be
Yeah,
exactly.
but it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It's the best. Like the best milkshake, the best chips, the best. Really the best.
Well, he's already had a sandwich that he's never tasted. That's the best.
I didn't say this is the best.
You should probably review that, Zach.
Yeah, do a review on that sandwich.
Really, really, really the best.
You know what I'm saying, eh?
I find it so interesting.
Jeez.
That's a laugh to tears almost. Woo.
And if you get the Chick-fil-A sauce, it's really
Oh my
interesting.
That would be really interesting.
And you just pour a little bit here and a little bit of ketchup on there, and it's really good.
Dang.
I still like to know how you know it's so good and you haven't even tasted it yet.
He's just
Well,
going.
That's what's blown
What
my
I'm saying
mind.
is by the internet hype and what I watch people eat, and I could just tell. I mean, I would imagine. It's
No,
gonna
I get that. You're a prophet. You're a food prophet. You're just telling a prophecy. You have yet to fulfill
It's
it.
not. I'm not
A
gonna eat it. And be
food
like,
profit.
I'm not gonna eat it and be like, this is disgusting.
It's like going to watch a movie that you hear is really good and it's not.
Right. That happens.
I did watch a good movie. I told you guys before, but
Was
The
it really
Overcomer.
good?
It's actually amazing.
Yeah, you were saying that the other day, that Overcomer is really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, that's one in the theaters now.
Mm-hmm. It's really
Watch
good.
Unplanned?
No. I gotta watch that too.
Is that like the 180 movie?
The 180. I seen it, but I don't remember it.
Mm.
No, it's a documentary. But I don't know what 180 was.
I think that was. Yeah, I think it was on
Kind
the
of.
same subject.
More like
wasn't it?
Yeah. I actually bought 100 of those and used to hand them out. I probably still have like 20 of them.
What were they? 180 on
180?
abortion?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
When I used to go out like preaching, I would used to hand them to people. I thought that was
I mean,
cool.
that's
You just
definitely
give
one
them-
thing I hope that the laws get stricter on. I mean, I don't think I think there's definitely certain situations where if it's going to save the lady's life or whatever, then then maybe. But for the most part, it'd be nice if they change that law.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I can tell you, the first thing that they would do is if they cut funding and didn't pay for the abortion half themselves or whatever. Like I know in Canada, they're fully funded.
Are they?
Yeah. So it's taxpayers paying for it, right?
Yeah, I think they have cut some funding here in America.
Yeah,
I think-
Trump has, but it's not like a lot. Like they still get hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Or are they
she
even a
did put
federal
out-
company, though?
What'd you say?
She did put in that Abby Johnson did put in some facts definitely that were a little bit surprising to me. 54% of abortions, these girls were on contraceptives. So that goes to show you the reliability.
Well, contraceptive is in pill form, or what kind of?
It said contraceptives. But that reminds me of that Friends show when Rachel gets pregnant. And Ross is in that kind of that coma where he's like 2%. He almost had a heart attack because it says on the box only 98% safe.
Oh, gotcha.
He finally reads the box, but he says nobody ever buys the box.
Right.
Not on the package.
Well,
So it's only 46% effective, I guess. Not even 2%. Or 98, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know lots of girls. I mean, there's people that women have had their tubes tied them, that the husband has a vasectomy and they still get pregnant. So you know what? Maybe God is the God of the womb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
happened
what
to
you
my
call it.
son's mom.
yeah, that would be crazy.
What's that?
Yeah, if you're gonna get your tubes tied and you're still gonna get pregnant, that means God just kicked your ass, basically.
I mean, I believe God's in control of that stuff anyways, but
Right.
Oh, he's not in control if you're abstinent. Only with Mary.
Oh, don't worry. He'll bring someone your way. Don't worry.
it's not like you're going to be walking in the store and all of a sudden you're like, I just got pregnant.
Oh God, there she is.
Do you think men will ever have a baby?
No, that's
You
impossible.
mean
No.
transgenders?
No.
I mean, there are
real men.
men.
No.
There are
No.
women who identify.
No,
as
he
men.
said to the woman in Genesis, okay? He said to her, not to the dude. He didn't say, by the way, you're going to have babies too. Like, no.
Well, there's women that say that they're men that have babies. And
Well,
it's funny, the media is like, look at this dad breastfeeding his son or whatever, or his child, not his son, his child. It's like,
Right.
actually, no, that's a woman.
like, yeah, you might call yourself a woman or a dude, but, like, you're totally a woman. Like,
Mhm.
even if you do get it changed, like, no, you were still created that way. Like, no matter what, you still were what you were. Like, not trying to hate on the people.
I had a lady, I heard she made a comment that God doesn't make mistakes. But, why would they choose that in the first place, Do you think it is somewhat genetic?
No, I think it's sin.
I think sin is like leprosy. You entertain a thought long enough and it will produce. That's what I
But you don't think, like,
No.
men are, like, more feminine now, like, looking sometimes?
Well, you look at milk, right? It's been proven that women, their hormones jump, and that's why girls develop like at 9 or 10 years old. I mean, we're the only mammal that drinks milk, but my family, we never drank milk, and my kids never drank milk. So I don't know.
All right. So, what was the development of your daughter?
She was 15 when she started her period, and her breast started developing probably at 13, 14.
Isn't that the way?
My son was saying, go ahead, Stacy.
Isn't that the way it is now? I mean, with
No.
milk drinkers as well.
No, girls develop much younger.
Okay.
But there's a lot of feminine hormones put into that milk, right? For production. A lot.
So you think, like, that affects men?
I think it does. How can it not?
There's a good chance for that.
Thomas DeLauer talks about that too.
Oh, really?
And
So,
it's
I mean, that could be affecting people's, like, sexual preferences so much?
well, female hormones are also found in plastics.
Yeah.
And it leaches out and in the water supply.
Yeah.
And when women urinate, a lot of those hormones go out. The hormones are small particles. They don't get filtered out. So it gets back into the water supply. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you just think there's a lot
I
more
think there's an
feminine
agenda
hormones?
I think that there's an agenda to feminize the male population. That's what I think.
Well,
That's my
there
opinion.
could be, but there is. I mean, I had a friend. I grew up with him. Like, to me, he was totally a dude. But yeah, then he turned into a female all of a sudden, which was crazy. But I mean, he would say, like, he always felt like should better be a woman. Like, I don't know if he was telling the truth or not. But anyway, he got murdered. I still call him a dude, but That's what happens to these people. There's an unproportionately high number of these people who switch genders that get murdered, which is kind of weird. You know,
I don't know
I
about
think it's
murder,
weird.
but I know the suicide rate is like massively. It's like
Is
the
it?
the rate of suicide in that community is
Really?
way higher than
It's at 40%.
Wow.
that's higher than slavery was.
I was unaware of that.
Is that
pre-op
seriously
and
true?
post-op. Yeah. Well, that's what they say.
Oh, you're talking people that actually have the surgery, Zach?
It's the suicide doesn't change.
Yeah,
after
it doesn't change. So like people will say like, if I were to have the surgery and live in the body that I want, then things would be good. But in reality, the suicide rate stays the same, and the rate is higher than when slaves were, like when the black people were slaves in America. They want to say that that the transsexual community is being persecuted worse than they are because their suicide rates are high, but there's no way that transsexual peoples and all that kind of stuff get persecuted and like back in like the 1800s in America, 1700s or whatever.
It's like chasing the dragon, right? Like,
Or are people more mentally weak than they've ever been?
Chasing the dragon.
Probably.
The dragon is drugs.
Yeah, chasing
Yeah,
the
but
dragon.
Or do we have more
chasing the dragon-
stress?
Chasing the dragon has become a more of a generic term in this, especially from a godly stance of you chase certain, whatever it is. It could be fame, fortune, money. You're always looking to alter. You're looking to alter your reality, and it's chasing the American dream. You got to be sleeping to enjoy it.
Yeah,
because you never.
Carl.
You never find the fulfillment that you're looking for, ever.
What about a monk, though?
A what?
A monk. They're kind of the opposite of the American dream. Do they have happiness?
I don't think so. I don't think that you can. We're a social being, for one, and I think that what they're doing is a almost like a semi form of self-punishment to work their way to God. I don't believe that brings peace either.
What if it really is just like everybody just really, really honestly just has no idea what's going on? Like, what if it all just takes a spark? Somebody
it's just some type of mass ball rolling down the hill.
We are the ones that start the ball rolling. Who knows? You never know. Maybe we can form Voltron.
Say it again.
I can't say it again. It was more epic the first time.
I'm not sure.
You're just thinking like it's mass chaos to some degree.
Yeah, how can really any one man per se control the workings of the world? The only way is if he has the help of the Lord God. Insane stuff happens every day, right?
I'm not sure what your point is, though. What do you mean?
The point was made.
I think he's just saying that God's stronger than money. I think is all he's saying. Mm-hmm.
Stronger than all of any of this, whether there's conspiracies or not, it's all good. He's got it all in lockdown. So even if this guy over here is being a shademeister, it's okay because the Lord God apparently wants him to be a shademeister, or he's just allowing him to be a shademeister because he doesn't care. Right? If you have the ability to make a choice and you choose the wrong one, that's your bad, not his, right?
You know what, Stacy? I always think of that. What is that? Can you repeat that saying you brought up? It was like a month ago, maybe, about people, good, bad.
Yes.
Cycles.
Okay.
I would really like it if you would type it into the Discord because I'd like to copy and paste it.
Okay. Hard times create good men. Good men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times.
And I think that's the truth. I think we go through cycles.
And we're in the last part.
Don't you think men and women, just their intellectual ability, their vocabulary, and their social is quite different than it was 60, 50, maybe 80 years ago,
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? I mean, just the way so many people wrote, and the literary, and then the way you see men and women meeting out in the streets, and it was more a social community. Now it's
Well, I think
now it's more a me community. Myself. I'm.
Absolutely.
I'm
but
the
even
center.
Christianity has gone that way.
Right.
Even Christianity is all about me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with that guy I invited on here.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing his wife's hair today, and we were talking about it, and she says, here I am, I'm retired. She just retired, semi-retired, and he's retired. They're kind of working off and on, but
right.
She said, here we are, we want to take a 6-week trip to Portugal or whatever, biking. And she said, and we look at each other, she goes, you go there and you get up and you go biking for the day, and it's beautiful, everything's great, everything's wonderful, sort of thing. But she goes, I can't help thinking, is this what my life was meant to be? It was a holiday. She goes, I feel like I should be serving, I feel like I'm missing the mark, so to speak, missing the point of life.
Huh? Yeah, keep going.
Like I see her point, because I see people come up to retirement, and I get so many different walks of life in my chair talking to them, and it seems like once they quote retire unquote, their life becomes aimless.
But no, that's the point of retirement is that now you have enough money to do whatever it is that you wanted to do in the first place in the world. It's like, so what do you want to do?
But but their focus is all about them, not about anybody else.
Tony Robbins says, I don't know if it's true or not, I never looked it up. He said that after retirement, people normally die within 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, that's why you don't because they feel like they have nothing to do. But do they really have?
But I'm not talking about not doing stuff. I'm talking about losing
not serving.
Yes, losing your sense of community.
Well, did they ever have it in the first place, though? You're working all your life, and now
you did in a sense, because you're serving your children, you're serving your husband, you're serving each other, and then all of a sudden it comes in your retirement, and
you're not serving anyone, and with the job, you're kind of serving others.
Well, not even the job, but like she said, because in a ministry of some sort, like she said, I want to be in a ministry of some sort. And they have lots of opportunity, but
a ministry of some sort. Interesting.
Well, serving people that need it. What did Christ ask us to do?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you see some person that needs some help, you should definitely help them. You shouldn't be like, oh, some other dude will get it. No, you're the person.
But that's it. It goes deep. It goes deeper than that. Than walking by somebody and give them $20. It goes much deeper.
I mean, I had it there was one time not that long ago where I witnessed an accident, blatant accident right in front of me. I'm the only person in the entire parking lot that saw it. Do I report her to the police, or do I let her go and just be like, you know what, somebody, whatever, this poor other person's car just got smashed, it's fine, whatever, they'll figure it out. No, I literally watched the person who did who actually hit the car. I watched them try to escape. They got out the car. I watched them. They didn't see me, but I saw them. They got out the car. They looked at the damage and then just went right into the store, went shopping, came back out, and then they were about to peace out. Didn't even leave a note, nothing. But I was there, and I took a picture of their license plate, called the cops, and was like, no, thou shalt not. I had to help the person.
But I don't mean that kind of serving. I mean,
that's helping someone. That person could have been out money that they needed, because now they have to fix the.
No, I get that. That's doing the right thing. But I'm talking about, putting ourselves actually out.
But what do
Did
you mean
Christ
by
come for a party? I mean, no, he came.
what do you mean? I'm not following.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I don't know. Just to be in service to other people.
That-
Whether
Yeah,
you're helping,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Maybe
that's
Stacy, maybe you can explain it better than me.
Well, no, I mean that's just one instance of where I helped somebody.
No,
But
no, I know
there's
that.
tons
I'm
of
not-
other places where you could help people. But that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
Like, what do you
think
mean?
most people help people kind of in passing today.
You mean, like-
I don't think people
Yeah,
spend much time.
No, I don't know many people that go to their neighbors and help them put up the fence and whatever.
Right. Or
I
paint
get
their
that.
house, or make them dinner when they need help.
I have all that, but nobody talks about that. That's all. Like, I have that going. Like, at least my people do. My friends, they come help me. I help them. Like, it's give and take, right?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Stacey?
I've always. What's that?
Well, I thought Stacy was saying something there.
I was just saying they used to do that. They go out of their way. If someone was doing something, they'd
Mhm.
volunteer before they waited to be asked or something like that.
Yeah. But I guess there's so many hurting people out there.
Yeah, there are, and there's no way that we could possibly help them all.
No, I didn't say there was, but if each Christian did one thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Behold the power of one. You get enough ones together, and you have a trillion.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just barely getting by, that they feel they can barely take care of themselves, let alone help other people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. When you're in survival mode, it's a totally different ballgame. I know that. I'm talking about people that are
Like
retired, not the ones that are still raised. Yeah. Not the
they have
ones
the opportunity more.
they have the resources, and they have, like she said to me, she goes, Lori, I spent more on my holiday last year than I spent giving.
Right.
So she's feeling conviction in this area of her life.
Yeah, especially when you get older, I think you're going to think more like, what's my life all about, than living just for me.
You'll really realize that when your children are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And because when you give love, that's actually the only way you receive love.
Yeah, I was kind of listening to Joel Osteen this morning. I haven't listened to him in a while, and it was like, be a miracle. Don't just expect a miracle. Be a miracle for someone else.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he was like, the example he gave was just something that happened in passing, kind of like Albert's, where Joel Osteen was, he was just at a restaurant over, and he saw this person. They like connected eyes, and he's like, oh, I should go like say something encouraging to the guy, and forget it, I'm not going to. And then he's like, oh, I guess I will go over and say something to him. And he asked him, how you doing? And the guy's like, oh, not that great. And Joel Osteen's like, it'll get better, just something simple like that. And anyhow, the guy ended up getting back in contact with Joel, and he's like, your words gave me hope. I was actually going through a divorce. I was at the lowest point of my life, and just things got better from that point. You never know. It could just be something in passing, like what Albert did.
Yeah.
Maybe that person was super low on their bill, and that's going to save them from going into bankruptcy or something. You never know.
Yeah, there's been times where I've tipped Uber drivers like $20 for absolutely no reason. Yeah, I just random acts of kindness. But I'm not doing it because I'm trying to get kudo points. I just do it because I feel like doing it. It's spur of the moment. I'm like, all right, I'll do it right now. But like, I don't do it every time.
And I think it's easier for Christ to be caring than it is for us.
Yeah.
He was perfect. We're imperfect. We just do our best, or try to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, everyone kind of feels like they want to do more. I think especially the older you get, you feel like, you want to, and then you feel bad because you're not like that lady.
But ultimately, you're not relying on your works, so don't get caught up in trying to just like help everybody. Like you can do what you can do, but don't try to be like the hero savior of the world, because that job is already filled, right? Working on it.
I think that can be an excuse, though. Right? I do. Yeah, we're not saved by our works, so nobody does anything.
Oh no, of course. It's a double-edged sword, you know.
Well, that's kind of like the futurism. That's the futurism thing. Why do anything? You know, God's coming in the future.
Yeah. There's a happy medium balance. It's like, no, definitely help people, but like don't be like, oh, I have to do this, like I have to help this person. Like, no, do it in balance, in moderation, just like anything. Yeah, help some people, don't help some people. If they don't look like they need help, don't help them. If they look like they need help, definitely go help them. Right? It's, you know, opportunity presents itself.
I was thinking more along the lines of, I'm not thinking of doing the right thing. I wouldn't hesitate for a minute to turn somebody in for something like that, right? But to me, that's just doing the right thing.
But I could have just been like, I'm busy, I gotta leave.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going that extra mile, like, you know, visiting somebody that's lonely, like an older person or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm
that Joel gave an example you might like, Lori. The church moved, and you know, the big church, and so but they moved, and they're moving, and the lady lost her license. You know, she was an older lady, wasn't able to drive anymore, and so you know, they got to hearing about the lady losing her license, and the church is going to move. She's like, well, I don't think I'll be able to make it church anymore. And a young gal, like 18 or 20, goes, oh, hey, I can pick you up. And she's like, well, I live, you know, kind of far away. And it was like a half hour farther for her to go pick her up, then a half hour back to the church, and a half hour to drop her. So an hour and a half every Sunday. And she's been doing that consistently, you know, to pick that lady up, to bring her to church every Sunday. So, I mean, that's like going out of the way, I think, things like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just that extra.
Yeah, I mean, if you give someone $20, you know, or $50 or $100 or whatever, I mean, that's great. But spending time with people, I think, is probably more important.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Mm. I think you, like I said, you don't get love. You can't receive love unless you give love. You know, because I think that love is actually the opposite of what the world teaches.
I mean, you're kind of fortunate with your position in your work. You get to see people, the same people over and over again. So you get to know them a little bit and share conversation. Yeah, where like other people, like, you know, Matthew, you know, he maybe sees that client once in a lifetime for a week. Yeah. You know, and it's a exchange of money, or, you know, like me, I've never talked to the same person once since I've been at my job.
Mm-hmm. Does it count if I do an act of kindness in a video game?
I will let you kill the person. I won't kill them.
Exactly. It's like, be like, I'll let you kill the mob first. I'll let you have the loot. You can have the treasure chest too. But like, you have to do this.
Oh, wow. But you have to do this.
No, I don't have to put a stipulation, but I could.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
think so.
How do you really help people, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I help people because they're about to die, right? So, like, I see a person, I'm in the world, okay? I'm another player. I can heal. I have healing spells, right? I can make this person have more life, right? But I see him getting owned by some, like, giant spider. So I'm just like, you know what? He's cool. He can take care of it. He gets killed by the spider, by the way, right? I had the choice of healing him and helping him, but I was like, nah, he's fine, right? So it's helping someone. It's still helping. It's just not in the way you guys are prescribing.
I guess it's, you know, visit the orphan, visit the sick, visit the prison, visit the widow.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you guys ever tried doing any of those and see what happens?
I don't know anybody in prison. Like, I'm not going to go see some, like, random gangsters and be like, hey, guys, what's good?
But there's lots of people in there that aren't in there for that. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean,
I
even
thought
if
about going to see my friend, but I just don't think it's appropriate.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times with the prison thing, they're like, oh, you got to be a licensed preacher. Not just anybody can visit. You know, they don't just let you in, even if you try.
Well, yeah, security reasons. They can't just let willy-nillys in.
And then if you try to visit the orphans, you got to go through a background check. You got to volunteer classes before you can even spend the time to visit an orphan.
See, but all of these things, all these processes were designed because of problems in the past. They're all there to help the process go better, right? They were all made for good, but some of them can maybe not be so good. Because now, whoever has all of your information, right? And it's in the prison. So if the prison ever gets taken over, they might have your information there. So just bad things can come out of good intentions. That's all. So even if you do try and be like the good works master and you do all sorts of fun things, like some of them might backfire. And
that's like visiting the orphan. Well, orphans will tell lies about the people, so now they make you sometimes doing groups of two or only public and can't travel together. And
well, there was totally always the possibility that people could lie. I mean, anybody can lie anytime. Like, there's no penalty for doing such things unless you get caught. So.
Well, no, I mean, the orphans have lied, made up like stories about the people that were just doing Good Samaritan works, and then they end up in jail.
Yeah, they end up in jail because of false accusations.
Right.
Susanna.
So, I mean, what you're saying is true. You can end up in a bad situation when you're trying to do good.
I've definitely seen multiple cases of people who were falsely accused, some of which actually did get out. You know, years later, after spending years and years in prison, they finally are exonerated and they get out and everything's reversed and they tell everybody like, oops, our bad, like we screwed up, like this dude didn't actually murder that person, like our bad, we screwed up, right? Like how can you ever fix that though, really? Like you can't. You can give me a lot of money, but like ultimately you still like you're gonna get like flashbacks to like whoever trying to like knife you in prison, like who knows like what happened to them while they were in there, you know? Terrible place to be. I don't know, but yeah, we should definitely help people. So if they need help, definitely help them. And if they don't need help, because some people they don't want your help. I learned that lesson the hard way. Once upon a time, I went to go help some person. You know, I was like, "Hey, do you want this?" And then they were offended that I would even ask them that. And it was like, okay, like my bad. Sheesh, didn't see that coming.
Well, you guys, it's getting late. Some of us have to work tomorrow. So I think I'm going to sign off and say good night.
Sayonara.
Everybody's going to then.
No, these guys are staying. They got all night. It's only 12:30. We're there.
Stacy's logged off.
Stacy's already gone.
Stacy's already gone. You did that on purpose.
I think so.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Night, guys.
All right.
But yeah, have yourselves a good one. Night, night.
All right. Night, Albert.
Night. Night, Rob.
Catch you later.
Peace, peace.